Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. We got a loaded show for you guys, the latest news and rumors, so buckle up. We'll get to that in just a second. But before we do so, it is mailbag time, at least very soon, on a video later on this week. We're going to answer all your questions. So use hashtag Lakers, ask away in the comments, trade ideas, free agency, draft, any other Lakers-related questions you have. We will answer them. We guarantee to answer those who send in a super thanks, and here is how you can do that. A super thanks comment is a donation, $1, $2, $5, however much you feel like donating. That little heart icon to the right of the like button allows you to super thanks. You can edit the message. It defaults to thanks, but you can use hashtag Lakers and ask your question. Doesn't matter what it is. So if you super thanks, you guarantee to get on the show. Otherwise, use hashtag Lakers and we'll answer as many of your questions as we possibly can. Let's talk about a potential Julius Randle reunion here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. Bleacher Report suggested a Russell Westbrook, Julius Randle-centric trade between the Lakers and the New York Knicks. So let's break this one down. Dan Favell of Bleacher Report had this to say, quote, "The Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They need to optimize their roster for now. Keeping Westbrook doesn't do that, and saddling new head coach Darvin Ham with the job of fitting the square severed peg into the circular round of holes does neither him nor the franchise any favors." Favell continues, with Fournier slots in nicely, talking about Evan Fournier as an outside shooter and complementary scorer. Randle is the more complicated addition, but he shot better on catch and fire threes than Westbrook even in a down year and can be more readily used as a screener. Using him to run the offense during LeBron-less stretches also figures to be more effective. Here's the trade idea Favell put together. Okay? Randle and Evan Fournier to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook, a first-round pick swap in 2026, top 2 protected, and then a 2027 first-round pick, top 4 protected. So you're really only giving up one first-round pick. Sure, a pick swap there, but that's probably going to favor you anyway if you are the Los Angeles Lakers. You get Fournier. Well, what do you think? Would you do this trade? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let us know down in the comments section. Would you do this trade if you were the Los Angeles Lakers? I got to say, it's pretty intriguing. If you ask me, I definitely consider it because you guys know where I stand. I'm on the dump Russell Westbrook train at all costs. And look, I don't love Julius Randle, but if you're able to dump Russ, you get Fournier, who's a good shooter as well. I think I could live with that result if I'm being completely honest. Now, Julius Randle 2 years ago was a legitimate MVP candidate. Last year, not so much. A couple years ago, 24 points and 10 rebounds, 6 assists, really efficient at almost 46% from the field and 41% from three. Then he gets a big contract, efficiency wavers, 20 points per game, down from 24. 10 rebounds, about the same. His assists were down 1 per game. Efficiency from the field down 4.5 percentage points. And then the three-point shot is really what disappeared. He went from 41% to under 31%. But again, like Favell mentioned, still a better shooter than Russ was this year, and that was in a down year for Julius Randle. Get Russell Westbrook out of Los Angeles. If that means you have to take on Julius Randle, so be it. I just have to try something else if I am LA. And quite frankly, I think the combination of Randle and a good shooter in Evan Fournier compared to Russell Westbrook, I think you're winning out on that deal at the end of the day. Laker Nation, thank you so much for helping us reach 45,000 subscribers. Now the train to 50K is well underway. So go ahead and subscribe, and we will get to 50,000 as soon as possible. Videos almost every single day. Now, yesterday on the Lakers Report, we asked you this trivia question, and we will reveal that answer in just a moment. Get your final votes in if you haven't already. How many games was the Lakers' NBA record winning streak? If you know the answer, type it right now because, drum roll please, 33. 33 wins in a row. It's a record in the NBA. Shout out to all you who got that correct on our last video, and kudos to anyone who got it right today. Here are the shout-outs for those who got it. Melvin Morris, Shakir Reddick, Jimmy Kane, Francisco, Enrico, Anthony, King J-Rock, Ferdinand, Nicorelli, and Nate Moore, all getting it right. Congratulations. We'll mix in some trivia from time to time. Shout out to all of you who got it correct. Let's talk coaching now, and there's more buzz around the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers really did want Juwan Howard. I'm happy with Darvin Ham, but Marc Stein on his Substack reported that it sounds like Juwan Howard was the guy if he wanted the job. Here's what he had to say. The most interesting thing I've heard while we wait for Ham's official introduction is that, according to the latest buzz in coaching circles, Michigan's Juwan Howard was the Lakers' preferred candidate among the various coaches to whom they were linked to, who were under contract elsewhere, and thus ultimately unavailable ahead of Philadelphia's Doc Rivers and Quinn Snyder. The Lakers, I'm told, made such strong overtures to Howard that the implication was clear. The job was his if he wanted it. As covered here on May 2nd, Howard made it clear in turn throughout the Lakers' 47-day search that despite his long associations with both LeBron James and Lakers Vice President Rob Pelinka, he had no interest in leaving behind the college game at Michigan and the opportunity to coach Suns Jace and Jet next season. An interesting parallel to the other historic franchise in the NBA, the Boston Celtics also had interest in Juwan Howard last offseason. They ended up with Ime Udoka, a first-year head coach. And hey, that worked out pretty well. Maybe that can work out with the Lakers and Darvin Ham, who's a first-year head coach. That being said, I'm not surprised Juwan Howard drew interest from L.A. He played with LeBron in Miami. He was a top assistant coach under Eric Spoelstra with the Heat for a while. He's had success at the University of Michigan as a head coach. If he wants to, he can make the jump to the NBA pretty much year in and year out. Whenever he's ready for that opportunity, it'll be there for him. And to be honest, Lakers, that's a pretty appealing opportunity, but he's at his alma mater at Michigan. His sons are playing basketball. That's obviously a unique opportunity to get to coach them. Maybe in the future he'll coach in the NBA, maybe even with the Lakers. Who knows down the line. Now pick a head coach. Who would you have rather preferred? Type D for Darvin Ham. That's who they got. Type J for Juwan Howard. I think, regardless of what the answer would have been to this question a couple of weeks ago, I think you should be happy with how this has played out. I think Darvin Ham is certainly a quality selection at head coach. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up playing out. All right, Dan Wokey tweeted this out. The next batch of Lakers draft workouts have been announced. Here's tomorrow's group per team. Lucas Williamson out of Loyola Chicago. Younghoe Lee out of Davidson. Paul Atkinson Jr. out of Notre Dame. Scotty Pippen Jr. out of Vanderbilt. Jamal King out of Oakland. And Gage Prim out of Missouri State. Obviously, the notable name that catches all of our eyes is Scotty Pippen Jr., who was a second-time All-SEC first team, or two-time All-SEC first team at Vanderbilt, there. And he's been drawing some buzz. It'll be interesting to see where he goes in the draft. There's been some chatter that the Lakers could buy a second-round pick. Pippen, last couple of seasons, 21 points per game. 5 assists, not the most efficient scorer, but a good defender, good ball handler. Be interested to see if he's a first-round or a second-round pick. If he falls into round 2, Lakers could be one of those teams to buy into the second round and draft a player like Pippen. Laker Nation, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you want the Lakers to draft if they buy a pick in the second round? Let me know down in the comment section. Who would you like to see be the newest member of the Purple and Gold? Like we said off the top, we are going to get into a mailbag soon. So use hashtag Lakers or Super Thanks to get on the show, and we'll answer as many of your questions. If you Super Thanks, it's a guarantee. Hashtag Lakers, pretty good opportunity as well. So until next time, subscribe. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you soon here on the Lakers Report.